Today I'm going to show you how to install the Showcom trailer wiring harness on the 2018 Plus Honda Goldwing Tour. To start this process, you need to put the motorcycle on the center stand, open up the side panels as well as the side doors to the back bags on both sides. Also, you have to remove the rear fender in the back of the motorcycle. To remove the fender, you have to remove two screws to the left and the right of that reflector back there with a hex head tool. And oddly enough, none of my metric wrenches would fit up in there, but one of my standard ones did. Once you remove those two bolts, there's a rubber grommet back behind here that you pull against and it pops right out. Before you install the wiring harness, make sure you install a reliable trailer hitch to your motorcycle, such as the Goldwing 6771, like the one I installed here. Look for my video on how I installed this Goldwing 6771 trailer hitch. This is nice and snug. 1 7/8 inch ball in chrome, nice and sturdy. Everything's good to go. Before I put this on, I'm going to wire the wiring harness for the trailer. Okay, on the instructions, they told you how to open up all the doors to get to the side so you can take the side panels off so you can take the seat off. I moved forward with that because of other installation I've done, and of course the rear fender is off as well. We'll get to that later. But in the meantime, I want to clarify some things per the instructions that I did not understand so you would understand. This is the wiring harness from Showcom that's going to supply power to your trailer. They talk about the trailer wiring harness, which is big thick wire. Then they talk about a 3-wire connector and a 1-wire connector. And as you can see, these things have multiple wires to them. I don't understand what they're talking about. So to clarify, what they're referring to, if you look at this wire bundle, there's only 3 wires coming out of this bundle. So this is the 3-wire bundle they're referring to. And if you look at this other one, even though you see multiple wires, there's only 1 wire coming out of this wiring bundle here. So when they talk about the 1 wire, they're talking about this one, and the 3-wire is this one. So as per the instructions, we're going to take the wiring harness and put it under the amplifier back in the back, towards the back. So you just keep on pushing that back. You'll be able to see it from the back. We'll go back there and try to pull it out. You continue to feed that till it comes out the other end. And then you have this part facing down. What we're going to do is feed this all the way down till this sits back here in the back. Pull these wires, the red wire included, and move it backwards like this one. So all of these wires will move forward. So when this is sitting back in the back, these wires will come forward to the proper directions, and the wire harness wires will go out the back. And as per the instructions, you disconnect the positive and negative barrel terminals on during this installation. Please pardon the hum you may hear in the background because this is my heater going in this cold garage. So if you hear hum, that's what you're hearing. If you're running a light in the back, and if you look from the inside, you'll be able to see light. Shove the cord through that towards that light until you see it run out the back like such. Now you're ready to slide the controller in place under the seat. Now that you got the cord through, go back to the back and start pulling the cord out. All the way through. once you get that back in the back, now you can just slide this on down further towards the back. All the way down to this point here. This here does not obstruct any of your other cables that you may have installed. It's all the way down and in place. So we place the relay cable in place as such. Now we're going to run the one wire harness cable, which was this one I was telling you about. It has the one wire coming out of this one wire to this side, and we're going to run the other one to the left side. We'll run the power wire and the ground underneath the frame, with such out of the way. Actually, want to run underneath anything that may interfere. So we run underneath this item we have here. So it doesn't get tangled in anything. You wonder where you'll be able to get to your fuse, which in this case is right there. I'm going to leave it right there so you'll be able to access it. Run these on down, out of the way, and underneath all other components. And we'll run this over towards the battery. So you want to run it underneath anything else you may have running through here. And underneath the frame to come out the other end. Seal your wires. Shove them under the other ones. There. You're now ready to start wiring your connectors into the bike. So now you locate the power connectors, we call the seat harness. This is the right side, and that's the left side. So these are what you're gonna cut these, connect these two. So all you have to do when you get over here, this wire is already in here, is pull this connector out by pressing down on this connector. Should pull straight out. Here it goes. We're looking at the wrong end. Pull straight out. Same thing on this side. Press the button. And pull it out. Remember, you're pulling the back end of these connectors. The other end is attached to the bike. So now you take on the left side, so the one that had the 3 wire, the longer wires they're referring to, you bring it over here. Tuck all the stuff underneath here out of the way, if you can, and connect. Make sure you connect from the proper side. So you connect this side to this one. Make sure you got the correct side up. The alignment's good. There we go. Snap in. But it's a simple matter of just finding the right place to move the wires to, so they won't be pinched by the seat when it comes back in here. So all I gotta do is secure these down out of the way so when we contact with the seat, wire these into the battery, and then hook up the connector to the trailer. other than that, get done in here. So we'll wire these connected to the battery first. But I'm gonna make sure that I don't connect those until I got my connector in the back connected into the thing that hooks up to the trailer. The motorcycle connector, I use the Hopkins number 48365 connector, oval connector, to run to the trailer on the wiring harness that I just installed. For the trailer side connection, I used a compatible Hopkins connector to go on to the trailer because I discovered the oval connector that was already on this used trailer did not match the Hopkins on the other side. So it's best you get compatible connectors on each end to match. Even though they look similar, they may not match. Thankfully, Show Chrome provided a lot of wire that extends to the trailer depending on your needs. I cut this to a size that was functional for me, so I won't have to be working underneath the motorcycle to get this thing to work. So I cut it to the size I needed. As you see, I cut this wire down. I cut it to where I can manage the wires from here instead of fighting with it up behind here. So I got extra room on mine. And to hook it up into the connector that's going to attach underneath here, all I got to do is take the little set wire out of the side of the connector there. The set screw out of the side. Set the little screw aside somewhere. Then when you open this up, you can insert a screwdriver in there this way and push this out. Then you're ready to wire your connector to this. What you have to do is before you start wiring is to actually open this up and set these in here. So you push that all the way through. Now you can start the wiring process. This is why I gave myself extra room so I can work with this thing. And the instructions will tell you that this thing is not labeled other than there's a letter L on there, number 1. So it doesn't show you where to put these wires. But as the instructions state, the red to brake, brown to running, blue to right, orange to left, and green to ground. So you can pretty much put these any way you want to as long as it matches the connections on your trailer. So what I'm going to wind up doing is trying to make this consistent with any other kind of wiring that it might be to make sure that there's a consistent connection between this and my trailer. And I found out this connector won't fit the connector on my trailer that I bought used. So I'll have to change that as well. That way I'll be able to match the connectors. So since I may not be able to show you this while I'm wiring it, I'm going to be consistent. There's a little line on this thing, a little groove set on this that I realized that when you set it here, it was set in there like that, where this top would be the top pin. So I'm going to put these in order of that they're recommending, where I'm going to start with red at the top, break to the next one, blue, in order of that. So I'm going to go counterclockwise with this. So when I get in my trailer, I'm going to make sure the wires are consistent with the same direction I'm going with this, and they would match. Just a quick hint for you. Like I said, I cut all these down to size, and now I put them in the order that I mentioned before, starting from this pin, this groove going around in the order that they recommend in instructions as far as the wires to hook up. They didn't necessarily say put them in this order. That's why I decided. So I'm just showing you the last little bit of twisting these wires carefully. I start all over, folks, because I forgot to put back. There's a rubber grommet that seals out moisture that goes in the back of here when you pull these wires back through. Don't forget to install that. I opened the wires to the trailer and look what I discovered.
Even though I have a 5-pin oval connector, the wire actually have 6 wires. You can count them here. What I had to figure out was that normally the white wire is used for ground, but in this case, Aluma used the black wire, which most of us would use for ground. So the white wire was not in use. So I used the black wire for the ground.
There you have it. The way I did this, I looked up online. There's no consistent way that these lights are hooked up. So what I had to do is whatever wire I put on that side, I had to match it on this side. And found out that the wires in here are different colors. But when I looked at the wiring diagram for Aluma, I just matched the function to the function on that side. And that's how I got it to work. All I have to do now is hook it up right there with some nuts and bolts that did not come with the kit. So to be ready for connection and ready to ride.
And look at that. The wiring worked to the trailer. That's good news.
I figured out the wiring configuration for this trailer. Took me a minute, took some research. See, it all works. Even the brake light is just a running light until you match the brakes. But there it is, hooked up to the hitch.
I hope this was helpful in your plans on doing one of these installs yourself. Thank you for watching and take care.